Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Constant Agitation, weekly podcast. You, all right?
Sorry.
It was just what do you
Sorry.
call it? Like a spring, a string.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, what was I saying? Episode 21.
Yes.
Welcome back. We changed it to Tuesdays because it's summertime and everybody wants to go out on Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
So in case you missed last week's episode, or like the last episode we did,
Yeah.
you missed the announcement. Yeah, there was no episode last Friday because we shifted it to Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
It's Tuesday today, right?
It's Tuesday. Yeah. It feels like Friday though.
Yeah.
When we were preparing, I'm like, no, it's not Friday. It's Tuesday.
Yeah, and today, we're trying something different, right?
A little bit different.
Yeah, we thought to switch it up, keep it interesting. We'll cover, our favorite photographers always in future episodes
Mm-hmm.
and interviews and all that kind of stuff. But we've been really busy.
Yeah, I think the fact that we didn't have last Friday podcast, we went out and we were shooting and we've been doing quite some stuff.
Yeah, we did a lot of stuff. Hey, Tim. Oh, nice of you to join us during your photo walk.
Nice.
Help you catch some really good scenes out there.
Yes.
How do you want to start this? We have one question. Do you want to jump into the question and then we... Hey, son.
Hey, son. Hey. Shena.
Do you want to...
We can start with a question and then we can move on to the...
Right. I just want to comment on the hat. The hat is back on. That means I need a haircut. So, I don't know. You want to yell at me in the comments, tell me to get a haircut. Maybe I'll feel bad before I turn into a caveman again. Look, the beard is making a comeback.
But the beard has a nice structure to it.
It's all right. Right. Let's look at the question. It's from Shitole H.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you picked the weirdest names. I mean, he's the same guy on Discord. He has another
Dark something.
Yeah. But interesting question. Hey, Chris. Interesting question. Will incorporating analog photography make me mindful about my digital photography?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I think definitely. I think analog photography is like a little bit like a Sudoku for the brain. So you cannot train to use your mind when it comes to photography in a certain way. And in my experience, when I then shoot with digital, I translate that way of thinking into also using digital.
What do you mean by that way of thinking? Can you be more specific, maybe?
I think about being more mindful of having the right settings from the get-go, even though I can take as many photos as I want, and maybe digital is perhaps more forgiving when it comes to post-processing in some regards.
Yeah.
But I feel like I shoot less with digital since I am back at taking analog photos for the past year. Actually, I have noticed that. I'm much more conservative with my frames, even though I don't need to.
Yeah.
But I really try to have that mentality of like, every photo I take, I want it to be as good as I can. Of course, there is margin for errors, but I try not to.
Yeah, you start to notice, the more you do it, you start to notice, oh, I messed up that one, and it was because I did this. And then the next time you mess up do the same mistake, you're like, oh, I messed up again. And then maybe if you really want the shot and you're shooting analog, you're like, I have to take another one because you messed up. Like you kind of know that you missed the moment, even though if you depend... And I think it depends on the system that you're using, but still, like even if you're shooting with a TLR, so your view is not obstructed, or a rangefinder, you still kind of develop a feel for it that you missed the frame because you're not blasting through frames in analog. So you're like, I think they blinked right before I take, or like
that's always
something moved, or a car drove into the scene that I wasn't planning for, and they're like. Now you have to make the decision. And also, I think on the other end of the process, when you go to look at your photos and you see it like, okay, I have some good pictures and I don't have so much to filter out through. And it's a relief in a way.
It's nice, yeah.
You don't have to go through so many pictures. And sometimes you get 2 good pictures and now like, which one do I use? And
I think So this question is also nice in the way that it's been phrased, because they are mentioning about being mindful, which is being in the moment, being present, being attentive of the thing that you're doing, and not kind of be mind wandering to other stuff. And I think when you are working with analog, you are having to calculate and to think about so many things about the moment of taking the photograph, that it makes you more mindful about doing photography than with digital directly, because if you have everything in auto, you might be thinking about 1,000 other things and you are shooting. And when you are doing analog, it is a more mindful experience of photography. And I think if you are used to that way of relating to the photography, to the moment of taking the photo, then you also translate that when you're using digital.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this in practical terms, at least for me. I noticed that when I used to shoot digital when I first started, I learned that the first thing that happened, that I had no idea what I was doing, and I would shoot a photo and it wouldn't come out so nice, and then I have to change stuff, and then I learned how to read the meter. And then the first thing I would do is look at the meter and, maybe move it around, read my scene, and then try to think of where I want to go with the settings, maybe take a shot, and that didn't work out. So the process was a very much trial and error until I get
what I
want to be. And this is not necessarily relevant directly to analog, because you could develop the same knowledge and experience by shooting only digital. But I think the way the workflow of analog is kind of, it forces you to learn these things. You can't really afford to just keep trying until you nail the shot. You have to remember
what you did,
the settings. You have to remember the principles. You have to know them in order to work. Because not all analog cameras have depth of field preview, and when you do activate it, you lose a lot of light, so it's not usable all the time. So there's a lot of limitations on analog that kind of force you to learn better. And
I agree.
I noticed now that my thought process before taking the shot, after doing analog for a long while now, or relatively long while, but I feel like the way that I approach taking the picture is different. I already know what I want, and I just double check with the meter. I might be off by a little bit, but then the whole decision making process is different.
Yeah.
And so I think the answer to that question is yes. But I have to say that if you don't have access to analog, film and analog cameras and stuff like that, don't feel like you are missing out or anything. It's just a mindset. So you have to, if you're using a digital camera, you have to tell yourself that you want to make all your decisions about your exposure maybe before you go to take the shot, and then double check with the meter that is inside the camera. That's one way of doing it, and try to be more, conservative with your
shots.
Yeah, burst mode. But it's useful. It's definitely useful if you're doing sports.
Oh yeah.
And stuff like that, birds and stuff like that. I'm not against it. It's just not something that I do. That's why I feel fine without it. But yeah, I hope that helps. And that's the only question we got this week. As always, if you're listening for the first time, or just a reminder, if you want to leave a question, something to talk about, something you're wondering about, leave them on Instagram or send them to us somewhere. All the socials are in the description. What else do we have planned for today? We have two things.
Yes.
Right. Go ahead. You're gonna say something.
You go. I was gonna say hi to the people that joined on, and that Sherry made it on time to be with us on this Tuesday.
Hey, Chronic. I like that name.
Chronic Fish.
Yeah. So okay. Tim is about to hit us with a question.
All right.
Suspense.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you can see this behind me while Tim writes the question. There's a new camera in town. In the house.
A new camera.
There's a bunch of them actually. This is one of the things we're going to talk about. Do I or do I not scale a fence to take a photo on a private? Do it, bro. Don't get caught though. Don't get caught, and maybe don't announce it publicly on the internet.
I would say if there is no indication on site that you are gonna be seen from the people, like you, maybe there's no people indoors, there's nobody, I would say go for it. Try not to damage any property,
I was just
and
gonna say, don't do damage.
yeah, don't do damage. If there are like some plants, try to be mindful of them and things like that. But I wouldn't be the first time that I take a photo over someone's fence.
I mean, yeah, maybe don't touch the fence. Maybe just raise your camera.
I mean, if
up.
you have to go up the fence, you are gonna have to touch it. I guess.
Maybe stand.
Bring
on
your
something.
ladder.
Stand on something. If you can see it, this is what I can tell you. If you're not photographing what's indoors, if you're not peeping inside, if you're just taking a photo of the facade outside, if you can see it from the street, you can take a photo of it. That's my
paparazzo.
Don't photograph
people in their homes
inside. Just if you want to take a photo of the building, do it, but don't. Do
you remember that I had an idea to take in this winter? I said that I wanted to do a project taking pictures of Swedish windows during Christmas, and you were like, "That's so creepy. Why would you do that?" I'm like, "It's towards the outside. I don't think." And this is something I think I still want to do if this winter we're still here.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the curtains maybe are closed or you can't see what's inside. Because look, I've been in so many arguments, heated arguments about the freedom to take photos when you're outside.
Yeah.
I believe that if you're outside, I can take a photo of you. I mean, or you can be in my photo. I don't really care for street portraits or just like, there is somebody shared with me this dude that stands on the same corner and photographs pass-byers. Yeah. The photos are not even good. And they have like a paparazzi feeling to it. We were talking about it on Discord. But if you're taking a photo of something and there are people if you're using the people in the photo, in the frame as compositional elements.
Yeah, you said it very nicely. They're part of the landscape. The people are part of the landscape.
Exactly. And so, I'm not going to delete the photo. I will go to court with you. I don't care. The only exception that I would understand is that there are people who are under immunity or, like, I don't know.
Yeah, that they have some issues.
Some issues
they need to protect their identity and stuff like that.
So if you have an issue like that and you declare it, all right, sorry, I will either blur the person or I will either, I will not share the photo because then I will basically dox them. If they're standing next to a monument, a famous monument, and somebody finds that photo, then they're in trouble. Mm-hmm. Right? So that's understandable. But, just you're being outside. I mean, there's so many CCTV cameras everywhere. We're being watched all the time. Mm-hmm. Just if you don't believe me, go on a walk and look around you. See how many cameras are watching you. You don't even know. If you didn't look for them. You'll be freaked out. So, a street photographer is not the worst evil when it comes to if you're worried about your privacy outside. Speaking of projects that we wanted to do but never done, maybe or yet, I remember that when the Samsung Note phones became popular, I think it was around 2016, 2017, something like that. A lot of people had them around, and the screens are so big.
The Galaxy Notes,
that you can see what's on the screen from a distance. And I would be sitting in restaurants like eating. I remember this when I was eating a burger, and it was the first time it happened. And there was a woman sitting with her kids at the table in front of me, and they wanted to take a selfie. And I was clearly in the shot, like so. The bottom half of the frame, this half of the frame is their faces, and I'm occupying this side right here, like torso to head. It's like a nice portrait of me, stuffing my face with burger. And I was like, I didn't want to be in that photo, but it's fine, like I'm here. I'm a part of the background, so I'm not going to go complain. Mm-hmm. But I didn't want to be in that photo, but it's fine. It is what it is. And then from that moment, I started noticing how many selfies I've been in. Like countless. Every time I see a Note phone, I look at it and I'm in the selfie with them.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's like, what about that? It's just mind-boggling when people get offended if they see me doing street photography, or they see a photographer and they're like, go to the next side, or people like go like this. This is the best one. They go like this. Like, take it easy. Nobody. And I don't say this with mean and ill intent or anything, but really nobody cares who you are. Like, literally, you, me, everybody is a nobody. Until you're somebody, then you'll be followed by paparazzis for other reasons. But nobody cares who we are. Nobody, like, if you know 7,000 people,
really
you still
don't
don't know nobody. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So just take it easy. Just a photo. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's the way I see it. I just, you're outside. I mean, because this wasn't planned, this rant. I'm sorry, but I need to say this, that when I got into street photography, it was explained to me by a friend, and he was into street photography, and he was telling me that, it's like when you watch like National Geographic, or you look at the magazine and you see these photos of the animals in their natural habitat.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, that's exactly what street photography, except the animals are the humans. And it's basically, you're just showing human life. You're just capturing random scenes from human life.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool because, look, I live in cities. I've never lived in a forest or in a jungle, so I don't have access to animals, really. And like, birds are rare. Here in Sweden, there's a bunch, and it's really cool. There's a lot of greenery and nature. But, in other cities that I lived in, there is hardly any animals around except like street cats and people walking their dogs. And, like, if you're going to take a photo of the dog, you're basically like targeting the dog, and you have to, and that's kind of creepy, maybe, like, unless you're Elliot Irwit and, I don't know how he did it, but it was Elliot, right?
Yeah, I think he just was very nice to people, and he was just like,
and that's, you can do that. A lot of people are very friendly and very, like, they want to take a portrait of the people, and they go and they ask for permission. I've done it a few times just because I found a character that is so interesting. Or sometimes they approach me and they ask me about some weird camera that I'm walking around with, and then I see them like looking at it, and I'm like, do you want me to take your picture with this? And they'll be like, yes. And I can feel that they want me to take their picture, but they're shy to ask.
Yeah.
So when I offer it, they immediately say yes, and they're happy about it.
But then the subject changes. Now they are the subject of the picture. It's not the street. It's a portrait.
Street portrait.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's not the same thing as you say. No, it's a different thing. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry about that. It's just a
topic that keeps coming back, and people get into trouble. And you have to have your answers ready. It's something that you have to think about before you go out and shoot, because it might happen.
And you know what? I'm kind of like, I have some grief.
Grief?
I don't know.
Grudge?
No, I'm upset about something. I'm upset about some photographers about this topic. Because, and they're two different kinds, right? The kind that are like, no, absolutely not. This is wrong. You shouldn't do it. No, it's not. All right. Let's not, let's talk about it. Right. And the other kind that's probably causing them to think that way, which is the creeps who are like, stalking people in the streets and the paparazzis and stuff like that. Don't do that. Right. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Because you're ruining it for all of us.
Be unobtrusive and just,
Yeah, don't disturb the scene. We're all going to have access. I'm the sneakiest guy when I'm shooting with the EM10. Nobody sees me, but I've been caught. A woman one time threw a hot cup of coffee at me. I dodged it like a ninja, but still I could have been burned. And but it's okay. I was, it's fine. I am willing to take that chance that somebody's going to react badly, and then like, we can either talk about it, or I can just, walk away. I'm not deleting the photo unless they have a really good reason.
Yeah.
But and even if the photo sucked, it's my freedom to exercise, taking photos outside. But yeah, and it's your freedom too. So as a photographer, if you like doing that, if you don't like it, if it's not your thing, fine, you don't have to do it. But just think about it like that. It's really documenting life, human life, just like we photograph animals. It's just the same thing. Is it okay to take a photo of a stray cat in the street? Yeah, I think so, right? Or like any pet in the street you can take. I don't know. You can take a photo of anything.
Yeah.
Why is it not okay to take a photo of a human? I don't understand.
Politics.
I don't know. Yeah, but anyways, sorry about that. Again, I don't know how many times. What do you want to get into? Do you want to talk about the cool stuff that we got, or maybe talk about some pictures? So this week we decided, instead of showing you somebody else's work, we might share some of our work.
Yes.
So we went and shot a bunch of stuff, and yeah, let's get into it.
I guess we can show photos, perhaps. I don't know. I really want to talk about the cameras, though.
All right, let's talk about the cameras then. So behind me, over there,
Yeah, Chronic Fish said perhaps an Intrepid.
well, it's out of focus, but if it was, you would be able to read that it says Cambo on it, and it's a Cambo, which is really nice. I wasn't so familiar with this.
No, we really didn't know about that brand so much until we came across this one, right?
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to do this. Maybe here you can see it better. The lighting today is crazy because we couldn't really set it up nicely because of the daylight. But yeah, this is the camera. It has a rotating back. It doesn't rotate actually, but like you can just release this and take it off and switch it.
Mm-hmm.
Some cameras do have that rotation thingy. I don't mind this, and it's quite light. Do you remember how heavy it was?
1.8 kilos.
So yeah, it's a monorail that is 1.8 kilos. Are you focusing or increasing the?
I'm focusing, and I will change the
No.
ISO.
Yeah, you threw it out of focus. Yeah. Back up a little bit. Back up.
Oh, I'm late. Sorry.
What do you mean?
There.
Oh, there.
I
Yeah.
was looking at the wrong place.
Yeah, delay. If you're listening to the podcast, well, sometimes you gotta watch. Yeah, it is beautiful. Yeah, bump it up a little bit more. Yeah, that's it. That's enough. Thank you. So it has a bunch of movements. The back does rotate. Not rotate. It does
Swing.
tilt. It does also swing. If you untighten this screw,
Everything's super tight.
and then it will swing, and it will also no, it will not go side to side or up and down. So that's the only two movements that the back standard will do. And the front standard has all the movements. It has, of course, you can focus with both since it's a monorail, so you can just push this one to the front and push this one to the back. So it's really nice.
This is what is normally referred to as a view camera, right? As
This,
opposed to
no. It's a monorail. I mean, yeah. Well, I don't know. It's a monorail.
Yeah,
keep it
and
simple.
I think a view camera versus a field camera, which is more.
A field camera is the one that folds.
Yeah.
I think, because you take it with you in the
Supposed to
field
be
and
more
it's
portable. Yeah.
So like the Linhof stuff. Again, I'm a noob at this, so if we're speaking out of terms, forgive us.
People are really liking the camera.
Yeah, it's I love it. And
It's so beautiful. It just looks so nice.
this one does this side to side. I should have, loosened it up a little bit more. And this one here goes rise and fall. Super nice. This is not the nicest lens that I got with that. We got two lenses with it. And of course you have your front tilt. And yeah, that's about it. So we were super excited to shoot this camera when we first got it. We couldn't wait to get filmed because
Literally.
I think we got it on the weekend and all the stores were closed. Hold on, let me put it back.
Yeah, we got it on a Saturday, I think.
Yeah.
Put it as a background, yeah.
So we did get it on a Saturday, and we couldn't get any film, but we had some paper.
Yes,
and
so
We shot some paper positives that I'm gonna show you.
Christy is saying congrats. But it's too modern for me. It's
Is
actually
it?
from the 80s. Yes, this one is from the 80s.
Well, I have another one.
yeah. Wait,
hold on.
just wait. This is not the only one we got.
All right, let's see how this works. If I should have set this up a little bit before. Cool. So this is my friend Shadi, handsome fellow.
Mhm.
I took so this is the photo as it was drying. Paper positive. This one I took outside. We rated the film at 0.8
8, yeah.
ISO. So that's not 8, that's 0.8. I think I might have overexposed this one a little
How
bit.
do you manage to overexpose a 0.8
Well,
isofilm
but I can
of a
say,
portrait?
yeah, he held up really nicely, even with the wind. He did a really good job posing for this picture. The sky
Very
looks,
nice. I really like it. He loves that photo also. It's very cool.
So it does look somewhere in between these two photos, the actual photo. This one is too. This one it was still drying, so I think the color changed a little bit.
And also, when I scanned this, because I scanned it with the flatbed, I did it in grayscale 16 bits.
Yeah.
So any tint that might have happened from the development, it was gone.
Yeah, and but you can see these kind of like spots or some. I don't know what these are.
I guess we should explain how the process goes.
Yeah, so we got all the information from YouTube on how to do this. I have to give shout outs, but I can't remember the name. But I'm sure somebody in the chat can help me out. There's a channel, an older gentleman, he does a lot of paper positive on, what's it called? The direct positive paper. I forget everything, really. But he has a really cool channel about a lot of DIY stuff when it comes to... large format. Does a lot of cool stuff. Like there was a video I was watching where you make your own bellows from paper.
Nice.
Does the folding and everything. I love that channel.
Origami.
I can't remember somebody. Yes, Van Cleave. Thank you, CM. You're the best. Always saves me every time.
Yes.
But yeah, so I got all the instructions from there.
Yes.
And I can tell you what I learned. We shot the paper 0.8 ISO and then
basically that's a negative.
Yeah.
So that's what you're doing.
We put in a normal developer. As you know, it's going to come out as a negative.
Yeah.
Because the brightest spots are going to be the black.
Exposed to the light, so the
so
silvers, they turn black. Yeah, exactly.
Right. But instead of fixing it immediately, you put it in two different baths. One is basically like food grade citric acid. Not all people use it in food. My family does a lot because we love citrus, and sometimes it's easier to throw some citric
instead
acid.
of squeezing a lemon.
So
It's a bit different, actually.
Yeah, so you can buy it from the grocery store, the citric acid, and just dilute, I think, 3 teaspoons in half a liter. And then you need, what's it called?
Hydrogen peroxide.
Hydrogen peroxide. I think 12% is the most that you can get.
In Sweden, at least,
Yeah. The second time it kind of worked better. So I don't know. Maybe the first time we put too little. So I think 12% is decent. And then you alternate. So you put it in the citric acid bath. And you were doing it in trays because paper is orthochromatic, so you can just do it with the red light. And you put it in citric acid for 30 seconds, 2 minutes in the H2O2, which is the hydrogen peroxide, and then you put it face down. You have to put it face down. So when you see it develop, put it in citric acid, and then before you put it in the hydrogen, put it face down.
So just explaining what's happening is like everything that you developed on the developer, it becomes really black. So it's all the silver precipitated, and then you put it in the citric acid, so it becomes sensitive to the peroxide. And when it's in the peroxide, what you're doing is basically bleaching your paper. Yeah. So all those silver particles that had reacted to the light initially and then to the developer.
You're only taking off the stuff that developed, and you need the citric acid to kind of modify
change the chemistry, I guess.
It will only interact with the ones that developed, and then it will make it possible for the peroxide to take them off,
wash it away.
So you need to put it face down and don't agitate it too much. Actually, just let it sit.
It will start bubbling. You will hear it.
It's like
and then when it starts bubbling,
also because of the bubbles. But then when it stops and you don't hear it anymore, take it off. 30 seconds in the citric acid, and you do it until the paper is white. If you overexposed, it might not turn completely white.
Because there was a lot of developed silver particles on the first step.
So, and then when it's completely white, what you do, you open up the light. I use a flashlight, a strong flashlight, and then just beam it directly. Make sure you cover all the paper. And
shoot it,
expose it to light for 5 seconds. Keep the lights open and throw it back in the developer. And then you will see your picture come up in front of you. Because now, when you expose it again, you expose all the silver particles that have not reacted in the first exposure.
Exactly.
And then
You get a positive.
you get a positive, excuse me. A good advice that I've learned from somebody talking about this is to pre-flash the paper. So what they do is
So reduce the sensitivity of it?
to give it a mid kind
Tone.
of, to have something in between.
Before the first exposure?
Before you first expose it.
Oy.
So before you take a picture, the way that it was explained to me, if somebody in the chat has a better way to do it, we can read it. We're just talking how we're going to go through the messages. I see a lot of people sending stuff. So before you shoot, take a piece of sanded glass, put it in front of the lens, or maybe just put it out of focus, point it at a white wall, take an exposure. I'm not sure exactly how long that exposure has to be. Maybe I'll have to do some tests, but I will report back if I learn anything. If anybody knows, please leave it in the chat. And then when you do that, you kind of develop some mids, because if you can see here,
they're
very
super
contrasty.
yeah.
Right. So that's the way. Let's look at more pictures. Maybe you can go through the chat while I talk about this one.
Yeah, so CM is saying that he never got really good results with the Van Cleef method on Ilford multigrade, which is actually the paper that we used.
Yeah, we used RC.
But that he has gotten better results with FOMA paper. So maybe we can try to get some different papers and do some tests. That would be very interesting. And Chris is saying that he did the same with the X-ray film, but did not manage to get that contrasting positives.
Yeah.
I guess it really depends on the kind of film or paper you're using for that method.
Did you, Chris? Did you try to pre-flash the paper?
Is that Chris is saying X-ray film, so I guess that's not paper.
Oh, sorry.
This one is super nice, the one you're showing now.
Yeah, this one I think it came out pretty nice. We have some really, really nice tones here actually in
very good range of highlights, mids and shadows actually.
Yeah, so this one was a 1 minute exposure, and there's kind of a ghost here. I don't know if it's visible. You can see there's a silver cup, the ones that the barista uses to heat up the milk. And this is a photo of my friend. She owns and runs this small cafe. And that was her last week, so I went there and I took a bunch of photos for her to remember that place. She had to close for a lot of reasons, and I know she loves the place, so I thought maybe, she could have a nice memory. And I'm really happy because she liked the photo.
Yes.
I gave the paper to her, but I kept the scan. So these ones, and I was working outside, and I was happy that anything came out. I'm really happy that the focus came nice. I have some good range. So I think there is a potential for paper positive.
How long did you expose this one for? You
1
remember?
minute.
1 minute. 1 minute?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I was indoors, of course. It was kind of dark.
I tried to kind of also give it some. I didn't shoot wide open because I wanted to have some depth of field as well.
No, I really love the result and what it means as well.
Yeah.
Her working there. And
so it's like I kind of basically the idea was to record 1 minute of her time.
Her imprint in the place, yeah.
So I this is one of the photos that I personally really like. When we first got it, we did some tests at home. This one turned out pretty nice. We just put
It took us a couple of tries though.
Yeah,
right?
I think this was the second or third one.
We had to use first. We tried with flash. It wasn't really that.
No.
And then this was with continuous lighting. A lot of light that we could put. Yeah.
Yeah, just a normal, flashlight, outdoors flashlight.
But I'm very happy that we got, I think the range is nice. The texture that we were able to get from the plant pot and the table, I think it's a nice first try.
I really like it. I do. The first couple tries, what happened is we were curious if we should do it face up or face down. And when you do it face up, something happens. It's like it doesn't remove it completely, or it removes it and it sits back on it.
Yeah, there are a lot of goo that comes out of the paper, and it kind of yellow. Goes on top of it, and I think it interferes of how the peroxide continues reacting with the particles. So better face down, much better face down.
Right. So CM is saying that he does the pre-flashing with the enlarger. I think that's actually a more precise method to do it. And Eva took a portrait of me.
Yay.
How long was this? 20 seconds?
20 seconds, yeah.
Not long. Um, yeah, thank you, Siam. So these were the
First tries.
first tries with the paper positives. We did shoot a bunch of film with it.
This we shot with the 210 lens, I
Yeah,
believe.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, this one is not the nicest lens. We got a 210 millimeter lens with it. Also a 5.6, if I remember correctly. And so really fun times with this camera. We shot a bunch of film. We developed one photo in open tray. That day when I took the photo of my friend working in the kitchen, I also took one on film. Because that day I actually went out and bought film. It was a Monday, so it was the Monday directly after we got it. So I went out, bought some film, but I had some papers loaded in the film holder, so I shot those, and then I loaded one shot. Shot it with a flash. I don't have it loaded up, so forget about it. But we did that one because it was a single sheet. Basically, I went into the bathroom. We sealed the light seals of the door. And then Eva stayed outside. I was inside, pitch black. I had my trays open because we shot on, what's it called? Branca. What's the name of the film?
I don't remember.
Branco.
You know
what
something
I'm talking
like
about.
that.
The 400 black and white cheap film. Not the cheapest. It's okay.
Yeah.
Actually, it's pretty nice. And we shot on that. I go inside with the sheet. And I accidentally actually developed the first. I was a mess. I forgot that I loaded 2 sheets, so I thought there was only one in the holder, and
then develops regarding it's like there's no photo. What?
Yeah, which is weird. The crazy thing. Luckily, there was a light leak in the film holder, because that film has no marking.
No markings. Yeah, it's true.
So there was no way for me to know if it developed or not if it wasn't for the light leak. So there you go. Sometimes
light leaks help you.
Yeah. So I developed the second sheet. Eva is outside looking at the timer and telling me everything.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
To agitate.
30 seconds. Now change, fix it. Now.
Yeah. So that was.
It worked out.
It did work out. It's a good.
It's
exposure.
a team effort, definitely.
Let me see if I have it.
We have also shot. Did we shot any color negative now in 4x5 or just the
slide?
Slide, only slide.
Yeah. So we shot a bunch of slide. We shot a bunch of color negatives, but we haven't developed them yet because I don't want to do the other.
How was it? Like we're gonna start getting some black and white film for 4x5, and then suddenly now we have a slide and we have color negatives.
Yeah. Well, luckily,
they were very nice.
The film store that I go to is really good. We're good friends, and they are the best. And
shout out to Bruno.
Yeah, they sometimes give me good deals.
Goodies.
Yeah. So
I mean, if they have things that are expired or something, they cannot just sell it at a normal price.
No, they don't usually. They don't say it's like they usually have to like do something else with it or I don't
throw
know.
it away.
So he's like, whenever he has expired stuff, he asks me if I want it. Sometimes he just gives me stuff. Where is it? He actually gave me this one.
Infrared.
Yeah. So I'm gonna test it and see. This one might have issues with it. We're gonna see. But I'm gonna test it for him as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so if you're in Stockholm, check out Bruno. He's the best. Now.
Did you find the photo?
I didn't really look for it because I was talking. But it worked. It worked. The open trays worked, but it was, I need to get my 4x5 Patterson adapter. Or we're gonna 3D print one that we find on Thingiverse. Is it Thingiverse or Thingiverse? Or I don't know. You know the website.
I call it Thingiverse because I like to say thingies.
Yeah, I think it's a play on word. Maybe it's.
Yeah, but basically we got some time ago an adapter for the Patterson for 4x5, but it's a bit flimsy and not maybe so secure and safe. And
yeah, I didn't like it so much. We bought that one, but I think I'm gonna 3D print one that looks like it might be. Yeah, it is a taco method. CM. There's a bunch of them. I think everything that you put like this and in something is
taco method.
It's a taco. The one that I'm gonna 3D print is actually you slide it in. Now there is one that is for like $60. Also 3D printed.
But that's the one that you make a rulo and put.
You make a very tight taco and you put it in. I think you can do like 8.
Yeah.
8 with that one.
It didn't look so safe to me. I don't know. I don't wanna. One thing that I really like about 4x5 is that you develop flat. and then it dries flat.
You know, even with the professional Jobo, you have the Magnum one. I don't know what they call it. And it's like a big drum with a bunch of holes, and then each hole can fit 2 sheets stuccoed inside. And pros love that one because, you know, they use it as, I mean, it's Jobo, so the build quality is going to be good. And they say it doesn't scratch, and as long as you keep the emulsion side facing out, so it's not in direct contact with the plastic, you should be all right.
What is CM is saying with hairbands under $1?
With hairbands,
What?
I get it. No, I get.
You just make a taco with a hairband and you put it inside
throw it inside.
What? That's what we were actually looking of a method to use just on the tank. Remember?
Yeah.
On Google, and we couldn't really find anything.
I was thinking that maybe if I just put it in the tank, you know, but
isn't it the hairband gonna be touching? But you put it on the emulsion side, on the other side.
Yeah, I will do that tonight. Thank you, CM. Yeah, well, Tim, I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry about your bad hearing. Last time we talked, we realized that.
I think the levels here look good.
Yeah, I mean, we're actually slightly clipping just for Tim.
Just for Tim. Tim, we're clipping for you.
Nobody else complains about the volume. Or maybe, look, guys, maybe I changed something. If you think we're too low, let me know. I don't want to blame Tim so much. I'm joking, buddy. Yeah, I will use the hairbands with the black and white ones at least today and see how it goes.
Yeah, because the slides we need to make more chemistry, I think, and all that.
Right. Okay.
We should get more rolls done.
Should we jump into the next camera so Chris will
be happy?
Be happy?
Yeah. Okay. Go to the next camera.
I don't know. Maybe he will be upset with what I did to it, but we will see.
Hopefully not.
Right. So this one we haven't shot yet, and I can't wait to shoot it. But we got this one.
You want me to refocus?
So no, the focus is
all
fine.
Right.
This is a Mentor Studio Reflex, and it has a Jenna f 4.5 250 millimeter. It's a gorgeous lens on this one, and it's
Chris is happy.
It's an SLR basically.
So basically, you can just
And you look. Wait, let me see if I can.
Can you?
The mirror was up. Let me see. It's not enough light for the camera to see. What if I point it at the light? What am I doing?
I don't know. Is it open?
Yeah, it is open. Wait. It's so difficult to do this.
Well, they have to trust us that you can look through it and see what's...
Oh, wait. Now it's open. For some reason, the mirror was stuck up. Right. So now you can see. It's quite clear in there. And this is a rotating back model. So it's insane to me because this is a super old camera. According to Eva, according to you, this was designed in 1913. But this specific camera might be newer later, because they kept making them. And so here on the side, there's a pin that you pull out, and then you can just rotate the back. And now it's in landscape mode. So, CM, this one is 9x12 in European standard. Yeah. But you can see there's some masking tape here, and there's some sanded down wood. This didn't look like this when we got it. You can see all of this, like there's a few millimeters shaven down. You can see it better here. So I shaved this down because it was too small. It had it had wood here, and it had like 2 rails on the inside, and I think it had some kind of I don't know, like a special
for a focusing screen,
a special screen with that fit the holders, but the opening itself was tighter than the 4x5 film holders, and I'm not gonna shoot 9x12 because there's not many options, and I'm already invested in 4x5, so I thought I would modify this one
to take 4x5
to take 4x5. And I think it will be better. I like the thing that I didn't ruin the camera.
No, I don't think you did. I think the only thing we're gonna struggle with, if anything, is trying to find the focus.
Yeah, I know. I will. So the idea is that I will 3D print or put together some wood pieces here to raise it up a little bit and then find the flange.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing is that I can confirm with this one here. So whatever I see in focus here should be in focus here. And then I can just drop in normal film holders. I'm looking for the 12 septum ones.
The mag bag.
The mag bag, basically.
Mag
the one
bag.
You pull it out and throw it back in.
It's really
behind.
cool, actually.
And this will be my 4x5 point and shoot street photography camera. That's the idea, at least. The cool thing about this,
When I show my mom the other camera, and she was like, "That's so big to go around with it." It's like the one that Jimmy wants to go around with is even bigger than this one.
Yeah, it's so crazy that this is actually bigger and heavier than the monorail, than the combo over there. But I really like it. The focusing screen is gorgeous. The lens is gorgeous. And let me tell you this. This is crazy, right? So I have an RB67, the original one, not Pro. Maybe it's Pro, but it's not a Pro S or Pro SD, right? We have a Pro S. We bought that one later, but the first camera that I got was the RB67 Pro.
Yeah.
And it has a rotating back.
Yeah.
But when you rotate, there is no indication on the focusing screen
how it's changed.
It changed. It doesn't do it automatically.
It's
know only the Pro S and the Pro SD that had that feature, that they will have like lines that would come in. The RZ actually blacks it out on the side.
And there's also some red lines or something like that. Yeah.
The RZ doesn't have red lines. The RB is the one with the red lines that kind of flip in on the focusing. This thing, and I don't know if you can see, but okay, maybe you can see it like this actually. Let me see if I can remove. Yeah, right. So now you can probably see it. So here
you can see on the sides.
You can see lines. There's two lines, and then when I flip it,
the lines have changed.
The lines have changed. You see, there's a line here. There's a line here, there's a line at the top. I'm going to flip it again, and hopefully this
Watch the magic. Woo!
Did you see it?
There's a switcheroo.
What? This is so cool. I can't believe this. And also, it's a focal plane shutter. So when you take a photo, I wonder if this is going to show. Where is the camera? Where is my
There.
All right, so you take a photo.
Yep.
I think that showed.
It showed.
Yeah, so this is the only drawback with this one, with this specific one, is that it maxes out at 100.
100th of a second,
yeah. So I'm going to do another exposure at 30th. And maybe like, I don't know, 5th. And you can see so it's just the distance between the two curtains increases or decreases. But it's really I just really like this. It's so packed with features. It even has like the secondary dial, which like it's kind of like a self timer, but it works with the shutter. So when you set it to the specific one that you should set it to, then it will kind of do its thing when it's like. But sometimes it doesn't work. It's all right for me. I really don't plan to do a long exposure with this one. I'm probably just gonna keep it on 100, and then control the exposure with the aperture blades, and then just blast away. I might, if I feel confident enough, I might open it and see if I can modify the shutter speed. But I don't know if I'm gonna do that because there is no way for me to confirm it. Like I don't own a shutter tester or anything like that. But it has a really handy handle, and then you can operate it basically one-handed, or not fully operated, but like you can just hold it like this and walk with it in the street. Yeah, and the other cool thing is it has movements. So it does swing. So here's our, it does tilt, and it swings. I don't know if you can see it.
There.
Maybe here you can see it. I don't know.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, you can see it swinging. So this
and
is
gear movement.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
This is super cool.
I'm really looking forward to be able to try it and see how you manage street photography with it.
Soon enough, it will be ready. That's like the only part left is this one. It took me a while to gather the courage and to actually be able to grind it down without destroying the whole thing.
It was fun, right?
Yeah. It's really, really, I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to load it up and start shooting. Um, Chronic. Try climbing over someone's fence with that beast. Yeah. I mean, try climbing anything with that.
You were thinking of putting also a strap to put it on your neck, right?
Yeah, I was thinking about making the strap. I found this a material. What's it called?
Sugru.
Sugru. And it's like what do you call it?
It's a flexible, malleable.
It's moldable glue.
Moldable glue. So the moment that you open the package, you can make it any form you want, and then you leave it in the form, and it will dry over 24 hours, keeping the form but being flexible and gluing to wherever you actually put it into.
So yeah, I was thinking I don't want to drill in the body too deep or anything, so maybe we can just see if we can stick some sugru to it and then drill that and thread some straps through it. We will see. Apparently it should be able to hold it like in their advertisements and stuff, but and I've seen some people on YouTube like hanging some stuff from it, like mugs or light fixtures or stuff like that. But we will test it. We got some and we have to use it with a lot of stuff. All right. So going from super big.
By the way, Tim asked you, what did he say? Where is it? I don't see it. He said something about, are you completely ditching small formats and just going 4x5?
No, dude. Yeah. Here's your answer. Look at my newest. My newest camera is this one.
Here. Have you denounced smaller formats yet?
No.
Is large format the only way for you?
I'm going full half frame.
We're going the whole range.
This one we haven't tested yet, but it's the Yashica Samurai. I got it.
Also known as Kyocera sometimes.
Here's my my Greif. Is that the word that I'm looking for?
No.
Yes. So you have to operate it two-handed for the zoom. So I turn it on. And in order to zoom, you have to use these buttons. And then, like, it's a really nice grip like this, but then my fingers, they can't reach.
Yeah, it's a bit strange that they decided to put it there.
Eva has a tiny hand, so she was able to hold it like this without, like, having her palm kind of covering the lens. And then, she can push these buttons. But this hurts my hand here. But yeah, no, we didn't ditch smaller formats. We got this one. We are gonna test it this week.
Yeah, so we didn't have a half frame camera for a really long time. We didn't have any in our collection, and then in the past month, I would say 3 found their way to our home.
Yep. There's this one.
So
it's gorgeous.
So I wanted a half frame for quite some time. First because I really like small cameras, and half frame tend to be small and cute cameras, but also because I wanted to explore the limitation of having vertical frames and also the constructive creativity of making storytelling of pictures by shooting diptychs. Because since it's a half frame, then in a 135 millimeter frame that you will have in a normal camera, 35 millimeter camera, you can actually fit 2 pictures with a half frame. So I wanted to always think about taking 2 pictures when I take 1 picture. That means that somehow they are related to each other. Is either a photo of something from different angles, or if a photo of something from a open up angle and then a close up, or telling a story with 2 photos, basically making a diptych.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to get a half frame. And then I was kind of like, what half frame to get? Can we get like a small one? And then, of course, the holy grail of half frames is the Olympus pen, which is one of the original ones, and it's an SLR, and it has interchangeable lenses, and it's super cool. And I was like, I don't know if I want to spend, the money. It's not the cheapest half frame that you can get. You can get very cheap half frames, also from the pen line, but more like point and shoot, and not the pen F, which is interchangeable lenses. And then suddenly, you decided to gift me a pen F. And then the same week, we found a really good deal on this Canon Demi that you're showing right now. And then you found the Samurai a week after or something like that.
I have to say, the Samurai, something about it is very strange that actually it's not vertical.
Yeah, like other half frames.
Look at it. You would expect that when, like with this camera or with the Pen F, when you look, the field of view is in portrait mode, portrait orientation. And it's unexpected because like it looks like any other camera, and when you look through it, it's gonna be landscape. But this camera of all
cameras, which you would think it might be vertical,
but it's horizontal.
And it's because the film goes from bottom to top
Yeah,
instead
there's no
of
film inside,
yeah,
so
you
I
can
can
open
show
that.
you. Where is the camera? There.
So it goes from bottom to top.
You load
Whereas
it up
in the
here,
other two cameras,
you-
it goes from side to side normally. So that's why you take it vertically.
and look how tiny this.
It's a little bit like the 645 in medium format, right?
Yeah, basically.
Mhm.
That's the same principle in a way. And hold on, listen to this. Is it on?
Ready?
What? Is it gonna do this when I load it? It's gonna
Yeah, yeah,
waste
yeah.
like 5 frames?
It does that. But I mean, 5
Unbelievable.
frames is like 2.5 in normal 35.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, so we kind of found these 3 cameras coming into our lives. The differences are a lot. So for the Pen F, it's interchangeable lenses, and it has a light meter that it will tell you what aperture to use at a given shutter speed that you choose. The Canon Demi, it's a bit of a point and shoot. It also has a light meter. I thought maybe it wasn't even working because it's a selenium light meter, but it's from the 60s, this camera. And I thought it might not be working. Maybe I'm gonna be overexposing my shots, but it has a little needle. Can you show it? Maybe it has a little needle on the top of the camera,
Where is it?
and then you
Yeah.
basically move your shutter speed, couple, aperture dial to match the 2 needles. That would mean that it's well exposed, and then you cannot really choose your aperture or choose your shutter speed. It's basically coupled. Either you are shooting very close up aperture and a high shutter speed, or a slow shutter speed with an open aperture. So, and I think that kind of takes away from choices, you just have to do it that way, and you only focus on composing your shot and taking the photos that you want. And this is the first one that we got a full roll through and tested, and you can show maybe some of the results.
It's like it's a point and shoot with some control, I would say, in terms of operation.
Yeah.
Right.
And also it's some focusing, so you had to kind of
Yeah.
guesstimate your. So this is what I meant about taking diptychs, right? Like here I saw this group of people that were all sitting with their backs towards me in this statue area, and then I took that photo, and then it's like, okay, I'm gonna take a photo of the statue itself a little bit closer up, and I think it just looks super nice.
Yeah, it's like you show something and then you show the environment where it is. That's the one.
Yeah,
way
like
of
that.
doing
That's one way to do it. This is actually called a Color Plus 200.
it. Mm-hmm.
I suspect that I'm a little bit overexposing. I don't know if it's because my choice of the shutter speeds, or is it because of the camera as a selenium light meter cell is a little bit worn out. But in any case, I think the majority of the shots came out quite usable from the whole roll. So
Yeah, I really like them. The color grade, I don't know. I mean, this screen is
crazy.
not to be trusted. I
No.
look here and now it's completely different. But yeah, this is something that we might get into actually later when we look at more pictures that I shot with the same film and same camera, and I can tell you my thoughts on that. Here's another one. It's a cheesy one.
So this one I thought, like, take it, just turn it 180 degrees the camera.
Yes.
It's the same image, but just turn around.
Well, not exactly.
Yeah.
The same image, but yeah.
This one as well, it's a moment, and then I take 2 photos of the place that I have around me, in a
Mhm.
sense.
This one I really like how it came out. You nailed the lineup. Like
Yeah,
the
I
lining
really
up
tried.
these 2 together.
Yeah.
You really nailed it.
I really wanted it to. The thing is, that it's the first roll I shot through it, so I didn't know how the viewfinder was gonna translate into the frames actually on the film.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit. Are the things gonna be all that I'm seeing is actually what it's gonna show? Is it less of it? So
It seems like if you planned this one the way I'm looking at it, it seems like the viewfinder is pretty nice.
I think the viewfinder is pretty nice. Yes.
And the last one from these, because we didn't scan the whole roll.
Because that's the other thing, because the spaces between the frames are not really consistent.
Yeah, that's an issue with the camera.
That's an issue with the camera. So I have read that the Pen F does better, and I assume the Samurai is gonna do better because it's automatic as well.
We will see.
But the spacing is not really consistent, and our plastic film holders have spacers between the frames. So in all of these that you're seeing, actually I'm kind of cropping a bit from both sides in order to have it centered. So I'm going to scan all of them with the DSLR method whenever we get our new
we ordered
light
something.
table.
The new light table with holders, supposedly really nice, and it's not negative supply. So
No.
expect a review of that when we get. I'm really excited about that one. It does everything from 35 millimeter
to 4x5.
to 4x5.
We got everything. So and this one, I decided to show it because I think one thing that this camera is that it's prone to light flares.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got a couple of frames like that were super washed out and they were taken almost seconds after the one next to it or before. Makes no sense. That is just that the settings were wrong. So I think maybe the way I moved and the light was hitting the lens, maybe it's prone to flaring, and that's why I get these kind of washed out images. So if you are gonna work with some kind of, then maybe have that in mind, that it might be a little bit flare prone,
yeah,
so to speak.
But we will see. We will see what's gonna happen.
And I really enjoyed it to shoot 4x5.
Honestly, looking inside this one, does it have film?
Sorry,
right
half
now?
frame. It doesn't.
Can I open it?
Yeah.
Because it seals.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. I was so looking forward to shoot it that we got it from this woman second hand. It was his dad camera, and the light seals look horrible. But I was like, hey, maybe they work.
I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but most of the light seal is here. It's stuck to the other side. There's a piece right here that fits basically right, like it's peeled off from here and it's stuck here, and then when you close it, it fits perfectly. Like we didn't brush them, we just let it,
just like
and it seals back on. So, but it's crazy, like it's in a really bad condition. We're gonna do some a test with I don't know. A lot of you guys have experience with weird stuff that I'm into. And maybe CM or Chris have an answer to that. I am thinking of using liquid electrical tape as a light seal. What are your thoughts on that? Is it a stupid idea? Have you tried it? Let me know. Right. So until then, we also shot a bunch of other stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking forward to see, because these came out pretty sharp, very nicely exposed. I'm actually surprised with how
I am surprised
what we got from what's it called? Half frame.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I think the fact that you're scanning them in diptychs and you're not really cropping to a single image also plays a role in the resolution. So in a way, you're seeing two images in the resolution of 35.
Yes, exactly.
Which maybe, like the size of the whole thing you're looking at it is not so small.
It's a 35, yeah.
Yeah, it's a 35. Two photos filling is 35.
I have a roll of portrait for 100
but still,
now.
like the projection from the lens is only falling on a half frame.
Yeah, and also I'm surprised with the Canon Demi, because this was one that I was considering for some time, and then I'm like, yeah, but the lens is not gonna be so good. I think the Olympus pen is gonna be better. Maybe. But the results are kind of nice. Like I like them. They're sharp. They are not like fussy. They are not. I don't know. Seems like it's good. I'm really looking forward to get the roll done through the Pen F and then compare the shots between those two cameras. That's gonna be very nice.
Right. So next up, let's talk about our adventures with the Vision 3. Because we had some adventures with that film.
Definitely. Maybe Tim, if you are here, put your volume up.
Tim already knows about this. I think I already talked to him about it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then I will let you know if it works. I just read the comment from CM. He said that he only changed light seals on Hasselblad film holders, so he doesn't know. I will see, because I have one leaky 4x5 holder, and I was thinking that maybe if I just create some material with the liquid tape.
How thick can you make the liquid tape be?
It's just basically like tape. It dries up to be like
whatever you put in there.
Yeah, it's to think of it kind of like sugru, that is a bit more malleable.
Liquid sugru.
Yeah, but it stays more malleable after the fact.
Oh, okay. But
so
then that should be, and it's black. It's like black electric tape that in liquid form. So the idea is that if I clean up these seals on this one, if I scrape them off and then I paint some tape and then it dries out, then when you close it, it should compress it a little bit. Yeah, I guess we should just need to put enough thickness on it.
A thick layer.
Yeah.
Right. So let's jump into
the Vision 3 adventures.
Yes. Let's see. Right. So here we have these photos, and
so first saying this is all 120 that we're gonna show.
So this film is Vision 3, Kodak Vision 3 motion picture stuff.
From
if
China.
if you're not familiar. And these are not the ones we got from Tim. These are from China. I don't know. They came wrapped in foil paper, aluminum foil, and one of them actually had. I think I might have talked about this before. I don't know if I did it on the podcast, but it was the when we were in the north, and one of the most beautiful shots I decided to shoot on a film that I don't even know if it works.
Yeah.
And you remember the ones with the snowy mountains and the moon and the colors in the sky? And then when I look at the photos, I can see like Kodak and then a frame number.
Yeah.
And it was because they used old Kodak film backing paper to hand roll these rolls. And then apparently Kodak had an issue with the backing paper where it was leaving, like the ink was imprinting on the film from the paper when it's rolled up. So yeah, I got one of those rolls, and the photo, it has like film markings on it, like from the paper. But the other roll that I shot there as well came out super nice. And
because it was Fuji.
Yeah.
Fuji backing paper.
It was Fuji backing paper. This one, the one that you're looking at, was also Fuji backing paper.
That's true. Yeah.
And by the way, not all Kodak is gonna. It was a single batch that they recalled it back in the day, and they're like, it was a whole issue, and they fixed it and whatever. But that somehow escaped and made it to a hand-rolled film from China that I bought. But I don't know, the color, we didn't really like work on them so much. These ones, I think I did a quick inversion. You did a quick inversion with the negative lab.
Yeah.
And I think they look really nice. So what we're trying...
that's the thing. Like what we were doing this time is... So the first time we shot Vision 3... okay, let's go back on the history of our Vision 3.
Before we get to that, I have to mention one thing. This is Vision 3 500T.
Yeah.
And it's shot without a filter.
Exactly, that's daylight. Yeah.
So it's a tungsten
it's
film.
Supposed to be super blue.
It's supposed to turn out super blue, but look at it. I think it looks gorgeous.
I really like it.
Tim made the comment on the colors when I showed him the photos. I think that's an editing thingy. I don't think it's because we'll get to that later. Like editing is just whatever you want it to be, I guess. I think that's what I'm arriving at.
It's an immense world.
I'm either unable to reproduce, accurate look from a specific film for whatever reason. Or I just think that it's whatever you interpret. I mean, I can take the photo and make it look however I want it to.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to match them, I can match them. But then I feel like, no, this one is nicer in a certain look.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways. So these photos were on the Vision 3 500T with no filter. The idea is that we were trying to test look at them. They're super clean. So Vision 3 comes covered with a remjet layer, which is like a carbon or soot, basically. A layer of black soot. And it sits on the backside. So on one side, there's the emulsion where you have the picture. And on the backside, the shiny side, basically, there's black soot. And you're supposed to wash it out. So the ECN process takes care of that somehow.
It's embedded in the process. Yeah.
Exactly. When you develop C41, you're basically cross-processing the film. You're getting a more contrasty look out of it. If you develop it in ECN, it will look super flat.
Quite flat, yeah.
And that's because for cinema, it's better because they like to color grade. It's like if you've been on YouTube and you've seen the video creators, they all talk about shooting log and they get this super flat profile.
For video.
Basically, this is the analog version of that. And the colors are gorgeous. I really dig the colors. And the film came out super clean. So I'm getting derailed.
Yeah, we were going to do a test in this case. So Jimmy shot a roll and I shot a roll. And then instead of developing the two of them the same way, or at least the step of taking away the remjet.
Move on.
We were going to do it differently because before we bought 5 rolls and these were our last 2 rolls. The first roll that we developed, we did it taking the remjet before.
So basically, the quick explainer. Yeah. If you look up online how to remove remjet, you'll get 2 answers. One will tell you that you take washing soda, mix it with warm water, pre-wash the film. So before you put anything in the film,
Shake
you
it.
put it inside and you shake it, and then you throw it out,
And then it's
and
supposed to
then-
be gone.
and then it's gone, and then you do your C41 development
Yeah.
normally. The other method that also we found online is that you just develop as normal. So you do your pre-wash with water if you choose to,
Developer.
and then developer, bleach,
Yeah.
wash it, and then before you stabilize it or put photo flow, if you use that, you take the film out because now it's been fixed. You take it out, you prepare like a bucket or some kind of a bath of water, and the
Washing
same
soda.
solution we mentioned before is water and washing soda. And then you dip the film in and you gently remove the soot with your finger.
With a finger, with a glove, more
Yeah.
if better if you can. Yeah.
So these photos were done the latter method. So these photos were developed first and then bleached and then taken out in a bath of water with washing soda,
Very slowly.
and it
trying
was
to-
cleaned
The
up.
thing is that before we also did this, and we were a little bit afraid that this method, what happens is when you're doing all this in the water becomes super black because this is super staining.
And super
that
sticky, by
It's
the
super
way.
sticky. So that we were afraid that then this soot comes into the emulsion side.
Yeah,
and
and it
then
happened.
And then it's more difficult to take it away because the emulsion side is also more permeable and more like things really, when they dry there, they're very difficult to remove.
So I rubbed it for like half an hour with isopropyl alcohol, which usually takes everything.
Yeah.
I mean, even some people told me that it will peel off the emulsion itself. I
It
found it to
didn't.
be safe.
Yeah.
If you have some weird stuff on your film, from my experience, isopropyl alcohol will clean it right out with a Q-tip or whatever. I soaked film, Vision 3 in isopropyl alcohol, and I rubbed it for like half an hour. The dried ramjet
On the
on
emulsion.
the emulsion side did
Very-
not come out.
So that's why we didn't really want to do it this way because
Yeah.
we were afraid that this would affect the photos.
Yeah.
But we still wanted to do the test, doing it before and another roll doing
And
it
see
after.
if we're more careful with the hand
Yeah,
method,
exactly.
not to make sure not to let anything dry on the bottom
yeah.
side. And we did, and you can see the photos.
They're
Like,
clean. I have to say they're very clean and there's no visible residues of the ramjet on the emulsion side that I can see.
I mean, this film is so versatile, and I really like the colors all over. This one, by the way, is an interesting photo. We were arguing about this. Maybe CM can settle this. We were standing on supposedly the biggest Viking grave in Sweden, which is in Västerås,
And
and
Anundshog.
it's called Anundshog.
Yeah.
Anundshog. Butchered the pronunciation. And basically, traditionally, Viking graves are hills. So the Viking would be buried under a hill. They basically
They
put
will make a hill on top
hill.
of the grave. Yeah.
She's saying the ones in Uppsala are bigger.
They feel taller at least.
And this is the biggest one.
So I don't know if
it's
this
a
one is broad there,
total volume.
total area of the grave.
And there are
perhaps.
these rune stones around it as well.
Yeah, they look like a little bit like a Swedish stone hedge.
Yeah.
Stone hedge.
It's really cool, that place. There's a bunch of photos that I took also in there. We'll see them in a second.
Yeah, so I really like how these photos turn out. This one indoors, typical tungsten look. I think Vision 3 Cine Still type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically, for those of you who don't know, this is what Cine Still come from. So basically, Cine Still buys this film from Kodak, and they remove that remjet layer before you buy it. That's one of the reasons why it's more expensive, because the film is not cheap in the first place, and it's not really made by Kodak to be shot photographically, so it's not cut in rolls basically.
Mm-hmm.
But there are people like our friend Tim. If you
Mhm.
missed the episode where he was on, if you shoot 35 millimeter, he sells it for a really nice price. So talk to Tim if you want some. But you have to remove the ramjet layer. Miguel
Yeah.
is I put the film in water 10-15 minutes, then I shake it like
I'll play it
I'm
Angry
playing Angry
Maracas.
Maracas. Change the water and repeat until it's clean. All right, so let me tell you what happened with me with that, Miguel. Because the second roll that we shot, we did exactly that, and this is what we got. So yeah. yeah, I don't know if you're listening to the podcast and you've seen souped film before. This is exactly what we're looking at. We're looking at souped film.
So yeah, and here in this one, maybe you cannot see so much the effect, but in some of the other shots, it
What do you
really
mean? Look at
like
all the
there you
blacks.
can see it. Yeah,
It's crazy. It's crazy. And I mean, this is not the only time this happened. The first roll we shot, one of Eva's friends wanted to have some portraits.
it was very late at night.
It was super late, and then we just not super late, but it was late at night, but it was super dark.
Yeah,
It was in the winter. It was like 8 o'clock, but it was super.
I think it was
dark.
probably like 6 p.m. actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, super early but late in Sweden.
Yeah. So, yeah. So we developed them. We shot them. We thought it was like that because of the underexposure.
Yeah.
But I feel like now
Knowing this,
because I overexposed this one by a third stop. So I rated this at 400. It's a 500 film. I think that's a third. And you can see all the photos.
It really feels like, so when I was looking at these photos, it just feels that whatever we put at the beginning, right? Because when you are souping film, what you do is that you shoot the roll, then you do the crazy things with the roll, and then you develop it. So it feels like the step that we did to remove the REM jet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Either was too hot or too concentrated or whatever it is, that it just really modify the motion and the film itself, because you can see even the flow of the liquid coming through the sprockets, right, in some of the shots.
Yeah, like this one, you can see them clearly, like waves. I don't know what you call them. So I don't know, and like we shot these two rolls the same day.
Yeah.
We were basically, I was metering, and I was shooting with the RZ67. Eva was shooting with the Fuji GW. She didn't have a meter on you or anything.
No, like
so
I was going with your metering.
So whatever I was shooting with, she'd be like, "What are you reading?" And I would say, and then she would match the settings. And her photos looked really clean, really nice. And the ones that we cleaned the other way, my photos, you can see exactly what they look like. When I was talking to Tim, and he thought maybe it's a quality control thing because we don't know, and because as I mentioned, I had issues with the previous roll, the one with the backing paper, but I think that was the problem with the backing paper.
Yeah.
The fact that this one and the one we shot with your friend have the common issue of being completely like washed out. The negatives are super thin.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's no contrast left there.
Super thin. Like when you look at the two negatives next to each other, we'll do a video about this.
Yeah.
And we will show you the negatives on a light table. It doesn't look normal. It doesn't look like they were developed in the same tank. We would develop them in the same tank. So the way we did it, we loaded the first roll, this one, shook it with the washing soda, drained it, and then run to the dark bag, open it inside, load up a second one, throw it in, and then develop as normal.
Yeah, so they went through the same development process.
Yeah.
The only difference is when the REM jet was removed.
Yeah, so this one was removed before, the other one was removed after. I mean, the effect is cool, but if you were not,
Looking for that,
if it was not looking for it, maybe it's upsetting. And I wasn't necessarily I for example, I wanted this photo, for example, to be clean.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want it to be.
That's the Uppsala flower, by the way.
No, I was looking at a different one.
Sorry.
The Uppsala flower one kind of looks cool because the flower itself was not affected. Yeah. But yeah, like this one, I kind of wanted it to be more dense so I can get, because the colors also are crazy. Like the colors are nothing like the previous film.
No.
I did some experiments inverting these on Photoshop, which is slowly becoming my favorite method of inverting. Like now I'm the 3 layers, copy paste on all and they look amazing. We will show you some examples. Right. So that's it for the Vision.
The Vision 3 Adventures.
The Vision Chronicles.
But to be honest, now after all this, I am afraid to try again to take it away before developing.
Yeah.
So that also includes another issue, which is you are developing with the C41 while the REM jet is still there.
Mm-hmm.
That means that some of the REM jet is gonna get kind of on your developer. So I would not use this and then reuse the developer to develop other stuff. So what we are doing now is that we basically wait until the end of the developer, like 14 roll scenes or something like that, and then we develop the Vision 3 and then we throw it away.
You know, I was thinking about that, and I was thinking that potentially we could mix 2 kits.
Yeah, one for the Vision 3.
One for Vision and one for if we end up shooting more Vision.
Yeah.
So if you shoot a lot of Vision, don't let this freak you out or anything.
Maybe, but don't mix it with the other developer.
Just, you know, stock up on some Vision, talk to Tim. And get yourself a lot of Vision. And then, you know, mix a batch of developer. If you're sending them to the lab and your lab removes them and they know how to, then you're fine. And if you're, I would recommend C41 over ECN. I've seen some results.
For photos, yeah.
For photos, C41 seems to be the way to go with processing it. And, you know, mix a small batch, enough for, you know, 16 film or something like that. And just go through them. It's a beautiful film. And it's not always tungsten balanced. What Cine still doesn't sell is the 250D and the 200T. Yeah. They might be coming soon, but for now, I know that Tim at least gets them occasionally. So see what he has.
Yeah.
I don't know, Tim. Feel free to write in the chat what films you have. Your website and what films you have on hand now, because I know like you were selling out of one stock recently, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But you know he always stocks up again on.
As soon as he can, yeah.
So talk to him, see if you're interested. If you like the photos from Eva's roll, and I mean there's a lot of different. Examples online. It's really a really good film. I should have prepared some of the shots from Kiruna, but yeah, you get the idea. Now let's look at some more of Eva's photos. You want to share some Eva Shore? Let me set this up. So I'm gonna open up this. You can see the difference. It's weird because usually I'm more like I shoot much more than you do, and I did shoot 2 rolls in the same time you shot 1 roll.
2 rolls on the RC when I shot 1 roll on the GW.
Yeah, so basically I shot 20 pictures, the same amount it took you to shoot 8.
Yeah,
although you overlapped, you also shot like
with
a Vision. So if we count total 3 rolls for me on the RZ, and 2 rolls for you on the GW.
Yeah.
Right. So
that was a nice weekend.
Yeah. It was really fun this week, you guys. I have to say, the fact that it's sunny and life is getting back to normal, places are opening up. You know, it was nice, and I think it was like it's. I think it's a good decision that we moved the podcast to today. We hope it works for you as well, and that you can also go out and shoot on the weekend or have fun and don't feel like you're missing out on this lovely community that we have here.
Yes.
But if you're Tim, he's also shooting right now, so
I think he went back home or something because he said hello from quieter pastures.
Yeah. So
all right. So what are we looking at now?
Now this is the roll you shot, and it's crazy because you shot 1 photo.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it was one subject.
Yeah, that's true. So
which is so unlike you.
It is so unlike me, but I was inspired.
And I remember you wanted to finish the role because we wanted to develop that.
Yeah, that's also true, kind of like that's the pressure. But yeah, so it's Stockholm. Actually, we were able now because the weather is better. Rooftops are open again. I guess rooftops is one of the safest way to hang out with people and outside. Yeah. And we were in one of the nicest rooftops in the city center of Stockholm. And you weren't so inspired by the surroundings and stuff, but I kind of like this roofscape of the city, and you can see the different kind of buildings, and you have the church over there. And I just thought it's shot on Portrait 400, and there's a lot of colors in the city, and I thought it might be nice to get it. So I wanted to get just these kind of roof layers. That's what I was going after. I kind of like it. I think I need to fix this a bit tilted. Yeah,
and I noticed it too. We fixed the other ones though.
Yeah. And then we had this thing, which is a very weird building here in Uppsala. And
it's a water tower.
It's a water tower, but I can help by seeing a chef's hat when I look at it.
It does
And
look like it.
we were there. You had a shot left in your camera, but I still had a lot in the Fuji.
Yeah.
And I just went in, and I didn't know that we could get so close as we did.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, I'm just gonna shoot the rest of the roll here. I will try to find things. So I did a little bit of a reportage of that building. Also Portra 400 is the same role.
I really
And
like this
what I
one.
really like, and I was inspired, well, I really like structures and geometries and these abstract lines. And I really like that the time of the day that it was, how the light was falling on a gradient on the building itself.
Mhm.
And I thought that would look really nice on film, and in particular here in Portra. So I positioned myself in a way where I could get this gradient to be apparent. So here is the building, here's the other side. It was a clear there. As you can see, we're having good weather. This one is one of my favorites because it kind of like you don't really know what it is.
Yeah.
Like what is it part of? Why there are so many cameras? Like it gives you this. I really, really like this one. And it's very nicely framed. I think like I have to give props to me that I didn't do it like tilt it or anything.
You took your time. I was
Yeah,
sitting
I
in the
did.
car for a while. I got so bored. I started because you yelled at me for not turning off the car. So I got so bored, and I like put it in neutral, and I started pushing the car uphill, and then I got super tired, and I regretted everything. But then you were done.
Yeah. And this one as well. So I kind of position myself closer, farther away, completely vertical towards the outside. So I'm really happy with the collection actually.
Yeah, this one is super cool, and this one is actually where the previous roll ended. The same
So it's the
indoor. This
yeah.
is inside Kulturhuset in Stockholm, one of my favorite places to be.
Mhm.
If you're there, pass by. It's in the center. It's right above the metro station. You come out and it's there. And they have a room where they have a 3D model of Stockholm. And it's built under a floor of glass. So you can walk over the 3D model of the city. And there are people that work there, and they will tell you about all the landmarks and cool stories.
Secrets of the city.
Yeah, I always, whenever I go and I see a different person, I would be like, "What's your favorite spot?" Or where is something that you think nobody knows about? And I always get a cool piece of trivia. And it's basically also a theater and a bunch of different libraries. It's a really cool building, and they have a nice cafe on the roof. So if you're visiting Stockholm,
This one's yours? Yeah, I think so, right?
No,
The
this
photo?
is
Me and mine?
yours. Yeah.
Okay, because we were both shooting the same place.
Yeah, but this is your room.
Yeah, okay, that's the same role. Okay.
So yeah, if you're there, maybe I'll bump into you.
It's a pretty nice building. It's one of the nicer, more inspiring places in the city, I think.
CM, a brutalist monstrosity.
But inside it's nice.
Yeah,
I'm not saying outside is pretty.
Yeah, outside is
it
just
is a
it's
brutalist
a
building.
glass, like rectangular cube. What's a rectangular cube? Cube? I don't know.
A rectangular, cube of cement. That's basically what it is on the outside.
Yeah. But inside it's really fun. They have the different libraries that are focused, like different rooms, and they're focused on cinema and photography and stuff like that. And if you're young, I don't know if it's open now, but back in the day they have this like a maker space for teenagers.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, you need to be not teenager. I think you need to be under 23, and you can go there. There's a bunch of music instruments. There's a bunch of 3D printers. So yeah, you can go meet some like-minded people and make cool stuff inside Kulturhuset. And
they also have a record player.
They do have record players where you can rent the needle, and you can just take any record and sit and listen to it.
That's cool.
And in that same room, by the way, they have a bunch of cool things. They have hammocks where you can sit and read books, and they have pianos, electrical pianos, where you can put headphones and then pick up any book, like any sheet music book from the shelf, and sit and play or practice. I used to sometimes, if I'm super bored and waiting for my next class, I would pick up a bit like piano for beginners, and I would sit and practice.
Nice.
Yeah, because I don't know how to play piano. But yeah, this was it about Kulturhuset.
Tim is a bit behind, and he's saying he really likes the water tower photos. So thank you, Tim.
Yeah, and I think I should, since we talked about it, for those listening, maybe I should catch them up on what he was saying. And this is, by the way, it's not sponsored, but we really like to, I always thought Tim is saying about his Vision. I always talk up Vision 3 to 50D and 500T and double X black and white. I hope to be including 2 non-Kodak stocks soon. I think I have an idea what it is. Yeah, and so those are the ones because I mentioned them earlier. There's 250D and 500T, and I think these are the ones that you're gonna be using the most. If you're gonna use a tungsten, you're probably gonna go for the faster one.
Yeah, because 50D is super slow, actually.
50, but I'm saying about because there's 200T.
200T, okay.
And 50D. So these are the ones he's not stocking up on. And I think these are the ones that people are less likely to shoot. I mean, 50D, I understand. I would shoot 50 ISO film. I shoot a lot of slow film. But usually when I'm shooting color, I'm probably going with something faster. So I can really work with it and, so the 250D is actually, it's surprising to me that Cine still doesn't provide it because... it makes sense more than 50D. Yeah. For the average consumer.
Yeah.
And it's 35 millimeter only. So if you're listening, it's 35, 36 rolls, and Back to our usual programming. This is some shots that I did with the RZ, also on portrait. I overexposed these by maybe one stop or less. I don't remember. What was it? Do you remember how much I was?
I think it was 320.
320 my ISO was, yeah. I really like those. I really like what I did with the colors. I don't know. I'm curious to hear your opinions about it. I did all of these inversions completely on Photoshop, and it's such a super easy process. I scan with my with the EM1, and then put the Olympus file is ORF, throw it into Photoshop. It gets recognized by image raw, white balance, the film backing, open it directly, fix the rotation, not inversion, the mirroring. And then, a single curve layer that basically you go to the curves, click on the presets and hit negative, not color negative. And then maybe go to the white point, drag it up to the beginning of the
change the white
histogram.
White balance.
And then from there, the photo is basically almost ready. You can just add sometimes you might need some color correction. Sometimes you might need some contrast. So you add the secondary curves and you work with that.
Some levels, maybe. Yeah. I mean, the possibilities are endless. You can really go crazy with the things you can do, but it works surprisingly well. I was very surprised.
So easy to do. And then from there I'm getting more and more in love with Photoshop, and the way that I can control really the colors and the light and everything with it. So this photo took 3 layers, the one that I told you about. So the initial inversion curve, one that I just added curves and I put medium contrast on it, and the third one was color correction. So I basically just removed some color casts.
Yeah, and the color correction on Photoshop, you do separate the highlights, the mediums, and the shadows, so you can correct. So
it basically works the same way as the negative lab does it, where if you don't choose one, you can go and do the correction separately, shadows, mids, highlights. So I did that, and then I added the secondary one. So that one was basically, one was color correction and one was color grading, but they're both, I forget the name of the layer. Color correction is?
It's a color balance.
Color balance. So 2 color balance layers, one to correct and one to grade, to get it to look however I like it. Sometimes I would add an orange filter as well, a warming filter.
It's called a photo filter.
Yeah, layer. So photo filter layer, boom, and you throw it on. I hope I'm not boring you with this. I know a lot of you might be interested to know the process. And also I would sometimes play with the blending method of one of the color,
either normal
color balance
or color.
Or either normal or color. There's a blending mode called color. That one will make it more flat. And I think this one was done that way.
Yeah.
So the color correction layer was blending mode set to color.
Yeah, the blending mode things is just crazy. I try to really understand what each one means to try to make sense of it, when to be used, and it's just insane. It's a lot of mathematics behind it.
Yeah, I think I mean, the ones that I've been using are fairly simple. It's just that, like, what you are applying the layer to. So,
Yeah, so
like,
what part of the image will that layer that you just created will be applied on? Yeah, but then that depends on mathematical models. Like, is it the 50% of the highlights or the shadows? There are a lot of different modes. So I guess people that really use Photoshop to the maximum, they really understand each one of those layers, what it does.
I like this photo. There's a woman there.
Yeah, but I really like, that it has the mask.
And she has,
Yeah.
like, it's like
She just
put
left the mask.
mask
It's
here,
like,
and there's a bag here. And there's like, I'm just gonna go there. Forget about everything. And I like this sign. There was do you remember the woman that was
Yeah.
walking, and she was hiding, and I was trying to, I put the camera away, and I was like, don't worry, I'm waiting for you to pass. Just take it easy, because she was like this, she was like afraid. It was like
Yeah.
I was pointing the RZ, and I was holding it upside down to gain a higher vantage point. So I had the prism finder down, and I was seeing the whole scene upside down, getting ready for the 4x5 adventures.
Mm-hmm.
Looking upside down, it's actually, you don't see it upside down. You see it the same way. I just realized that it doesn't flip the image, you just flip the camera, but the view is still the same. So yeah, that didn't make any sense. Maybe I'm getting tired. Maybe we should end it soon. And this one, I think I told the story of this one last week.
Let's see if people can guess what it is.
Yeah.
That would be nice. What do you guys think this is?
But yeah, I don't know if we can wait for them to
leave
guess
your comments. Maybe we can go to the
delay.
next photo. Meanwhile.
Yeah, all right. So we're gonna skip this one for a while.
Say it. Give your votes. What do you think this is?
Yeah, and I told the story of this one last episode, I think, or maybe I talked to somebody else about it.
No, I think we no.
It
Didn't it happen after?
Yeah, I think it happened after.
I don't know. Let's see.
Oh, he got it.
Oh.
He got it. I think he knows the story. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Well, everybody knows it. It is a reflection of a car. How come you didn't know it?
I don't know.
You saw me
guys, when I saw this picture, which is already, of course, here is a positive one. I was like, first I was like, what is this? And then he explained what it is, and it's like, okay, show me when you do the conversion and when it's color. And he's like, what are you saying? This is the color image.
She thought it was inverted. She thought it was not yet. It was still. She thought I was still looking at a negative. I was like, what are you talking about? This is the car thingy. I was taking this photo, and the guy just came up to me, and he was like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Why are you filming the car? And I was like, I'm not filming. First of all, I'm not filming. It's a photo. But yeah, it was his car, and then he was.
I really like it.
He went away. Yeah, this one is the same building, and you can see like the difference. I think there's a bit difference in the how we both graded our images.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I really like the composition of this one.
Yeah, me too. This one I was happy about as well. This is all Portra, by the way, 400.
RZ with a 65mm.
Yeah, so you can see in some of those pictures, by the way, the vignetting of the 65.
Yeah, it's heavy.
In some pictures, I didn't like it, so I cropped, but I left it in some images because I didn't mind. But yeah, it is there. This one drove me crazy when I was trying to color correct it. This is the same rooftop that Eva took the cityscape from, but this is the entrance from inside the building. And of course, you gotta get those cool cars when you see them to get the likes on Instagram.
I like this one.
I actually think I'm gonna post these 3 on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then this one in the middle. It's cool to see this. And actually, maybe I should remove the number plate.
Because if you're gonna use it, probably.
Well, it's already on YouTube.
Oh.
Because they were parked wrong. But
Almost.
I mean, nobody can follow them and give them a ticket right now, so it's fine. And this is the same water tower, but I had one photo left, and this is what I decided to go with while Eva was deep in the bushes there.
It's nice here. You can see it in the ambient where it actually is. Like.
Yeah, it was, for me, the way that I thought about taking a photo of it, that it was such a big, massive thing, and because we got to be able to get close to it, I mean, I've taken photos from it from the street when we pass by from the car or something like that, and it's like it's in focus. It's the biggest thing in the whole scene and landscape. But here, because I was so close to it and it's easy to kind of fill the frame with it, I decided I just want to use it as a background instead.
Yeah.
And I just, I liked this. I almost didn't take it this way. I almost took it from over here on the side, and it was just clean, nothing obstructing it. I even found an angle where there's not a lot of bushes. Giant coffee filter. I really like that one. Chronic fish.
Yeah.
It does look like that for sure. But yeah, then I was like, it's my only exposure because I didn't have any film on me. And we basically just went out to finish the 2 rolls to develop at the same time, because we had previous rolls, the ones from the PenF and a bunch of other stuff. And yeah, that's my last photo. So here was this episode was a bit different.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It was a bit different. Instead, we look at some of our own stuff, and this came as a suggestion from somebody who's not here today. I wonder where she is. But yeah, so we hope you like it. If you like, because we usually try to do these in video form, like YouTube video form. So like you see us taking the shots, and then you see the shot on the screen, like normal photography videos, photo walks, video go. But we don't always film. A lot of times we just want to enjoy taking the photos, and sometimes I'm so picky about the videos, about making the videos, and if I'm not happy with the B-roll, basically, of filming the photo walk, I scratch the whole video. And we have a bunch, we have 3 at least, maybe, that may not be ever shown. And so I don't know if you prefer doing it this way, or if you prefer doing it live and talking about it after the fact instead of
making a dedicated video. I think the videos, what it has, the benefit is that if it's informative in some way, which it could be how a new film stock performs or a new camera, and you talk about the settings and how you use it, then you have a small 10-minute video that if someone wants to find information about that camera or that film stock can just find it easily. And here it's more about just sharing our experience and why did we shoot the way we did it. So it's a little bit of a different approach to it. I think making smaller videos about specific film stocks, cameras and stuff still
I think
cool.
We have one that we might actually put out. The last one we did.
We haven't shown the photos, I think.
I don't think, no, we didn't show the photos from that one. That one inspired actually experiments with red scale. I don't know if I talked about this before. But yeah, we had an accident, and then I reversed 3 films. We shot one of them. It was terrible. So
was it terrible?
Yeah, the test exposure one.
Yeah, I mean, they all look the same.
We didn't learn anything really from that. Yeah, thank you, Shuri. I think we might do something like a mix between the two. We will see. At least one we have already shot. We shot a bunch of photo walk, but we didn't say anything during the photo walk.
No.
And we're gonna maybe film it in this same setup. And it's as you said, it's a show and tell, but then there's some fill-in scenes from when the shot was being made. Thank you, Chronic.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Yeah, but other than that, I think that's it for today. Maybe I'll be popping in before the next. It's very possible that I'll be popping in before the next podcast, and I'll be grinding something for another 8 hours. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm referring to the time where I streamed for 8 hours building the Zin stacks. Oh, you turned so pink right now.
Am I pink?
Yeah.
Suddenly?
No, I think it was happening gradually, but I wasn't looking at the screen.
Here it actually doesn't look so pink. Look.
Yeah. No, actually that one is nice. Good. I don't know what's going on with the colors. Yeah, because now the light from outside is dying. Is going down. And this one is a different color temperature. So I might be making a DIY light. There's a bunch of DIY projects that I plan to make, photography related. They're fixing this one as well. So yeah, I might be popping in, streaming stuff like that. So stay tuned. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. I'm sure all of you that are here with us are already. If you enjoyed the show, hit the like.
like the button,
Yeah.
like the button,
Like
and
the
like the and click the button of like. Because today is 1st of June. This is actually the month of the anniversary of the channel.
Yeah.
And we are hoping that by the time we hit 1 year old, we are gonna have reached the 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
So if you know anybody that likes photography, analog photography, and they don't know about us, maybe you can suggest that they check it out. And if they like, they can subscribe and be part of our small family.
Yes, we're almost there. We're almost hitting 1,000.
There.
So yeah, cool. Thank you everybody for watching. We hope you have an amazing rest of the week, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Between 7:38, more or less. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Peace.
Bye.